Hey everyone, and welcome to another video, one that might be of interest to you all, as we'll go through the what, how and why about raiding arenas. What they are, how they work, and most importantly what you get from them, why you'd want to do raiding arenas. We'll shortly touch on training arenas as well, but that's basically the same thing, without glitter and bell. What are raiding arenas? Now, raiding arenas are basically simple arena skirmishes where you can do either 3v3 or 6v6. Which depends on the day of the week. Usually it's 6v6 on the minion days, being Sunday and Wednesday. All other days have 3v3 arenas open. They always last from midday to midnight, Amsterdam time, so basically my own time, kind of EU server time. A long time ago it was 24/7, but since the ratings were abused by boosters during night times, they put a time lock on it. So they're basically instances where you can group up beforehand, 3 players for 3v3s and a full group of 6 for 6v6s, and tag via the skirmish interface. Nothing will happen unless another group of 3 or 6 signs up in the server, so the game can match you up and you have a fair fight. 6v6s are usually about which group per AoE bursts the fastest, whereas the 3v3 is usually about which group can sustain the longest. As the fight takes time, a debuff builds up on all participants, which reduces incoming healing. This is to prevent that some fights last an eternity and puts stress on the healers. The same goes for training arenas, but the difference is that the tagging can be done individually and the game will throw people together into random groups when enough people tagged for it. That means 12 people for 6v6 or the minion days and 6 people for every other day. How does the raiding arenas work? Raiding arenas work with the rating that is listed on the website. It keeps track of whom wins and loses of the total fights and gives a score after each fight, whether you win or lose them. You cannot go below 0 in rank, but you will lose rank for every lose you make, so you might want to queue with people you can talk to or play with often. The rating will help you get gear of the highest level in Dragagon relics available depending on which season you're in. Raiding arenas as we speak are divided into 3 rewarding mini-seasons per season. Green plus blue are 1 mini-season, epic plus legendary are another mini-season, and fabled plus relics are the last mini-season. It's a bit wrong to call them mini-seasons as the rating still resets moving from green to blue or epic to legendary, so that means basically that one mini-season has no rewards while the next one has, so it alternates. There are different maps that you can randomly get into. The environment plays a big role in using the objects for line of sights and kiting. If you practice a lot on this as a healer or support, you can make a big difference in whether you'd win or lose fights. When you match with a certain group, you can only fight that group 3 times before a cooldown is triggered. This is a difficult concept to explain, so I'll try my best here. When a group of 3 called Giverlings fights a group of 3 called Canyons, and you can only fight them 3 times. You notice that you won't be getting them no more because a cooldown kicked in. So far from my experience, I believe it works as follows. Each player in a group has a cooldown queue. Every time you face those 3 players, their names get into your cooldown queue. As you fight them 3 times, they reach 3 matches. Then they are full and you won't get them again for the next 30 to 40 minutes. This would be per fight individually, meaning you can get one group and 10 minutes later get them again. 5 minutes later, get them again, and 20 minutes later, you get them again. That would mean the first time you got them has been off cooldown already for 5 minutes. So it's basically 30 to 40 minutes of cooldown between fighting the same players, up to 3 cooldowns at a time for those same players. Don't worry if you don't get it, it's really more important on a low population server so you know how it works. Why you want to do raiding arenas? Now the juicy stuff. What do you get from these raiding arenas? They're actually really good for gearing. So you could say the best draconic relics and artifacts materials are locked behind PvP content. You can also get the draconic relics from Nahed's raid, but the God's Legacy's materials are in superior quantities from this PvP content. First thing you want to get from raiding arenas are your draconic relics. These are the best relics you can get in the game. In order for you to buy them, you'll need another currency called Draconic Blessing. This Draconic Blessing can be gained by your rating. What happens here is that the game looks at your highest rating on every weekly reset, being Thursday morning at 4 o'clock Amsterdam time. It converts that number into Draconic Blessing, and that's the only way to gain Draconic Blessing week after week. If you want to do it on a pretty consistent level, you aim for 1250 or more per week starting from the first mini season week. That would mean you'd be able to get one Draconic Relic every second week. Doesn't sound as much, but that's a nice bonus on top of the Draconic Relics you get from 9 Citadel raids. As you grind raiding arenas but waiting for your Draconic Blessing, you'll want to dip your emblems into other stuff. The next item I can encourage you to buy is the Dream Elixir. This is a resource that you need to upgrade your God's Legacy artifact. Considering you can only get 5 prophetic dreams a week, you can only craft 2.5 Djinn gifts a week. Since you need 16k Dream Elixir per Djinn's craft, you need about 40k a week to keep up with the artifact. Worst case scenario math, that would mean 400k combat emblems a week, that's without any bonuses. It's always advised to always use combatants' sashes from your order NPC to increase the amount of emblems you get per win. On top of that, add the bonus you can get from your order buffs. Spark bonus is also advised. Once you have all of that, try to find some people and tag it random to PvP. Once you have reached your weekly needs of Dream Elixir and you're waiting for your Draconic Blessing, you can see for alternatives to spend on. I wouldn't recommend buying anything from equipment and upgrades. All of that stuff can be gained from Compass dungeons, also known as Heroic and Normal Astral. PvP artifacts can be a good alternative, especially since raiding arenas offer tier 2. You do need 1200 raiding to access that shop, so there's another reason of why you'd want to do raiding arenas. Any better ones can be gained for real gar at an extreme cost. These last 30 days, so they're pretty sustainable as well. PvP food such as the spicy fish and better infusion are also recommended to buy. Very cheap for what they do and always important to buy before any PvP fight that matters. These only work in PvP skirmishes, so that you know that. On top of all the normal rewards for sale, there's one more exciting reward. Every end of the second mini season, being Blue, Legi and Relic, the game checks the top 1% of all 3v3 participants that ever tagged into raiding arenas and gives those people an aura that gives you 1% more damage in PvP. Takes less damage and deals more healing. On top of that, also a unique costume that usually changes every time, so it's a pretty unique and cool costume. Not all can be seen in the wardrobe, apparently some are only available upon receiving. So there might be some out there of which you don't know about, because you simply don't have access to that costume. Same goes for 6v6 but then sends rewards to the whole group that's among the first, basically the top 6 in 6v6 raiding. That's about all I can explain you about raiding arenas. I hope some stuff got cleared up for you, and perhaps you'll be wanting to do more raiding arenas from now on, regardless of which server you play on. Quick tip as a veteran I can give, don't worry about losing, it's part of the game. We all used to lose a lot. Once you figure out how you can cope with losing, you'll figure out you can also win. Have a good game guys, see you in Sarnot and keep it safe. Go spill that blood.